Ladies and gentlemen, it is time again to check out what the Crossout devs have been cooking up for us for the next Battle Pass. We're gonna start with the first dev blog. This was posted on the 16th of May, 2025. The Ravagers are around the corner again, and the first thing we get to see is a new legendary light cabin. By the way, did you guys know that the Mars cabin is actually a Dodge Charger, but kind of alienated in some way? People are saying this cabin might be part of some kind of Ferrari, but looking at this image, it looks like the cabin has some sort of spine over here, and then these are the ribs. Actually kind of cool, the Ravager design. Actually kind of dope. Now, at the time of this recording, I think there's like a few days left for the New Frontier Battle Pass, so I believe next week, I think Tuesday or Wednesday, they're gonna have their live stream, and I'll be streaming that as well. And then usually on Thursday, they'll have their big update. Now, the developers designed this cabin for medium to long range weapons, basically sniping, because they mentioned that once you activate this perk, you can get over 100% penetration, which is, I mean, just imagine what the Comet Ballista can do with this cabin.
Yeah, boy.
The Comet Ballista already has an insane amount of penetration, and also with the perk of the Ballista, if they don't do something about the commit, this cabin with the commit is gonna be completely busted. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, maybe I'm understanding this incorrectly, but they're mentioning here the cabin passively increases the penetration ability of weapons. So by default, maybe you already get like plus 50% penetration without even using the perk. And on top of that, you can also charge the perk with medium to long range hits, and once the perk is full, you can activate it to deal over 100% more penetration, which is, you know, like I said, with the commit, it's gonna be kind of nuts. Usually these types of perks only stay active for like 6 or 7 seconds, so we'll have to see how long it lasts. They mentioned here this cabin would work best with some sort of sniper weapon. Who knows? Maybe the Ravager will provide something suitable. We'll see in the next block entry. Yeah, in the next block we see like a legendary Scorpion, so yeah, we'll get to that in a minute. But first, we got a new legendary shotgun, a new frontal shotgun, just like the Gremlin and the Goblin. What was this one called? Let me see if there's a name. So there's no name for this shotgun yet, but basically this shotgun has explosive spears at the tips, kind of like lances, and you charge those explosives by dealing damage to the enemy, and once they're fully charged, you can ram the enemy to deal additional damage. Very interesting perk and very cool design, not gonna lie. Sadly, these type of shotguns are not really that popular in Crossout at the moment, but remember those builds I did a few days back? Beacon 11, Hardened Tracks, Golden Eagle engine with maybe 4 of these could be very interesting. The next item they mentioned are new frames. We're getting heavy 2x2 and heavy 2x5 frames, as well as L-shaped 4x8 frames. All right, very nice. Those are gonna be very nice. I was looking for those yesterday. The second dev blog was posted on the 23rd of May, 2025, where we get the first look of the new mechanical legs coming into the game, and it looks like one of these new movement parts has 2 legs attached to one movement part. Very interesting. This was just the image of the dev blog. The first thing they actually talk about is the legendary pulse accelerator, basically a legendary Scorpion. This thing kind of reminds me of a Desert Eagle, the way it looks. Very cool. They're saying that this new weapon is specifically designed for that light cabin we just talked about, and in order to get the perk for this weapon, you need to hit the enemy twice in a row, and then the next shot will be replaced by a special shot. And this special shot or projectile attaches itself to the enemy and periodically damages all enemies' cabin within a certain radius. Very interesting. But if the cabin has 25% durability or less, it will not receive periodic damage. Kind of like the Akari, and it has another perk on top of that. That's crazy. After the damage phase, enemies within a certain radius will no longer see other players on their radar for a period of time. That is kind of strong. So the new light cabin is already gonna make this thing more powerful. It's a pulse accelerator, so I'm assuming it's gonna be pretty good right off the bat. Unlike the Astros where you get self-damage if you shoot, this one is just gonna, I think, just shoot normally. I'm assuming the projectile speed is also gonna be good. It basically has a mix of the Typhoon perk and the Akari's perk. I believe with the Typhoon, it drains the durability of weapons, but this thing will drain the durability of the cabin. Actually, a Helios type perk. Depending on the base damage of this new weapon, this could be really disgusting. If it deals like 700 damage, kind of like the commit, ooh, these are gonna be nasty. Next up, we have the new epic mechanical legs. So looking at the description, these are basically regenerating legs. If one gets destroyed, the other one gets deployed. If both get destroyed, you'll fall to the ground for a little bit, but eventually they'll regenerate and you'll be able to play again. I didn't see anything about carcasses, so maybe you don't even require carcasses. I'm assuming it would, right? Because usually Ravager tech requires carcasses to charge charge or something. But I don't see anything about carcasses, which is, man, that's crazy. And at the bottom section of the dev blog, they show off some new structural parts. These look like spaceship exhausts or something. Really cool. Oh, these look like, hey, this looks like a supercar front end. This thing kind of reminds me of some sort of Cadillac, some kind of Cadillac supercar, or maybe even a Lambo, that weird looking Lambo. Yeah, well, this was kind of cool. So yeah, this was the end of part 2. And then at part 3, man, I'm not gonna lie, these Ravager weapons look absolutely disgusting. So the first thing they talk about is the new legendary energy cannon. This one is strange. I was talking about it on stream. It kind of reminds me of that one laser or pulse rifle from Unreal Tournament 2004, to where you shoot smaller lasers, but you can also do a secondary firing mode, which is a big ball. And I believe you could charge that big ball by shooting those smaller lasers inside of it. That's what I kind of understood when reading the description yesterday, but I just glanced over it. Today I'll actually read it. So this thing is gonna fire something like the Morda. Hopefully it's not as slow, but it's gonna shoot 2 projectiles that are connected with some kind of energy beam, and it'll spin around kind of like the waltz. But if there's gonna be another projectile launched by the second copy of the weapon within a certain radius, so I'm assuming it's gonna fire really slow, the energy projectiles will merge into a huge ball of lightning that slowly floats forward and deals damage to nearby enemies, gradually slowing down. You know what this reminds me of? If you guys play the game Steel Hunters, I played it a few times on the channel before. There's a hunter called Fenris, and he has an ultimate ability like this, which is basically a big ball of energy that slowly travels forward, damaging anything in the radius, and upon contact, it'll explode. I think that's what this thing's gonna function like. Hopefully it's not super slow, because that projectile is kind of slow. Oh yeah, they mentioned it here. The lightning ball explodes upon hit or when its durability is depleted. If the projectile gets destroyed before they merge, the weapon reloads faster for the next shot. So looking at the description, I'm assuming that the projectile is gonna act like a shield, kind of like the Morda. Is gonna fire really slow, or it's gonna have a really slow projectile speed. You can combine it with something else and make a super big bubble, slowly move forward, dealing damage, kind of like Fenris. If I can, I'll put a clip of that Steel Hunter's hunter where he shoots the projectile and, you know, damages anything around him. So it looks like these are going to be 12 or 13 energy weapon, and you will be able to mount 2 of these on your build. And the next very interesting item they mentioned is a new legendary ammunition box, the first one ever. And basically this thing reloads your ammo. And so this thing is an ammo box that refills itself if there are carcasses nearby. Pretty straightforward, pretty simple. So basically the devs gave us a problem by giving every weapon ammo in the game, and now they're selling us the solution by giving us an ammo box that can refill itself if there's a carcass nearby. So let me read this in their words. The perk of the module is charged when there are wreckages within a certain radius. When the charge is full, it immediately resets and restores ammunition of each weapon by a certain percentage from the initial passive increase it provides. Note that this initial increase is lower than the epic ammunition module, but this is made up for by the perk and the low mass. Okay. To me, this looks like it's gonna be the biggest ammo box in the game. This one, like, if you look at this size over here, is the size of the teal one we got right now, but then there's extra sides, 1-pin sides, which is, you know, it's an awkward shape. It'll fit in a Yeti cloak fine, and I guess you can, yeah, you can fit it in some pretty cool locations. And the last part of the dev block is showing off some more structural parts. These look like the pass-through parts, like gun mounts and stuff like that, and these are fenders. Yep, and that's pretty much. Oh yeah, there's one more thing I would like to mention that they talked about. The new Ravager's Battle Pass will contain a new type of reward that will allow you to taunt destroyed opponents. The wasteland is becoming more toxic. Why would they say that? why would they go and do that? And lastly, guys, one more important thing. Crossout is celebrating their 10-year anniversary. Late May, early June, that's when they hit 10 years. So pretty much tomorrow is the 1st of June, and they'll probably give us a new free bag, maybe a few extra rewards, but news on that will be next week. Yeah, so there's gonna be celebrations and of course gifts. All right, so next week is gonna be a pretty fun week for Crossout. We're gonna get a new battle pass. It's their 10-year anniversary, and usually there's also gonna be Twitch drops with the new update. So very fun week next week for Crossout, boys. Anyways, that's it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, I hope I earned a like and a subscription to the channel. If you guys want to see more, you can do that by watching one of these 2 videos over here, and I'll see you there in a minute. And also, if you guys are interested in Roadcraft, I play that game a lot right now, and I make episodes, but it usually doesn't get pushed by my Crossout viewers. But take a look, it's pretty fun. If you don't like it, leave a dislike. If you like it, leave a like. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching. Have a great day. Peace.